With over 200 homes destroyed, hectares of land consumed by fire, and families evacuated to shelters, Halifax would rely on some of its very own local heroes to assist with bringing these fires under control. Chris Powell is a HRM firefighter, and he joins me now. Chris, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, about your experience, about what you do, your department.
I've been a firefighter for, it's going to be 19 years this July. I came on with a group of 10 other black firefighters under a special initiative to increase diversity in our fire department. I'd like to say it was a great success. We've had an increased number of visibly diverse people apply after our group and before, but I would like to think that our group was a good success. I've primarily been on the Dartmouth side, and it's been a good career. Learned a lot of things, done a lot of things, and met a lot of great people.
How has that initiative that in the firefighter department been over time as well?
I'll say that our fire department, it looks very different now than it did when I started. It's come a very long way, and perhaps because of, along with social influences, our department seems to be pretty progressive in moving forward in terms of accepting people for their individualism through their cultural, racial, gender, whatever identities they may carry. Awesome. Whereas at one point it might not have been that way.
Awesome, awesome. So 19 years of experience on the job. What is your take on the fire that happened recently, on the fires that happened in May 2023?
Actually, well, there's still a number of fires still going on.
Oh, wow.
But it's unfortunate that so many homes and so much land and so much was lost, and animal lives, and the ecological destruction. Fires are a natural thing, and they should occur. It's a way of renewing the land, except that now we have so many homes and people that it becomes a tragedy. It becomes, something horrific, with people being displaced from their homes. And the unfortunate thing is that it was probably started by a homeowner with probably not the most careful burning, or not observing the burning bylaws, which is why the HRM came out with such a strict, or actually I believe it was a province, came out with such a strict penalty for illegal burning. I believe it was $25,000 if you're caught. Yeah. And it seemed excessive and ridiculous, but when you think of how many homes were lost, when you think of how many people were displaced from their homes, when you think about the amount of land that's been scorched and how many animals were displaced, and the environmental destruction of all of that smoke being poured into the air, $25,000 you might be getting off light.
Wow, yeah.
Who wants to be responsible for that many homes?
Absolutely, absolutely. And from what you're saying, these fires, there would be fires that normally occur in the Halifax area anyway, as a part of a natural way things happen. But maybe introduction of more homes, introduction of more people around has naturally caused a more expansive exposure of these fires into the area.
For the most part, yes. Fires don't normally start themselves. And I mean, there could be lightning strikes that start the fires, but obviously we've had a very dry spring with hurricanes like Dorian, and even going as far back as Hurricane Juan. There's a lot of deadfall in the woods, trees that have blown over, and they've had time to dry. And then you get a very dry spring, such as the spring that we've had. It doesn't take very much from a campfire or somebody's backyard chimenea or something that doesn't have a proper spark arrestor. So not to blame the homeowners, and not to blame campers or outdoors, or not to blame or look at anybody in particular, but fires don't typically start themselves. But it doesn't take much.
Right. Could you give us a bit of an insight to the efforts that your department has put into controlling these fires?
I think we did well. I think I'm very often proud of our department in terms of how we handle fires. We're the oldest fire department, the oldest organized fire service in Canada, and we've had a long time and a good tradition of putting out fires. Forest fires, we team up with Department of Natural Resources, and we basically follow their direction in those situations. And I think the response was appropriately heavy. I think, you know, they sent a good number of trucks and a good number of people into the situation to handle it. And I think, you know, trying to get there early to make your best attack as early as you can, I think, you know, it's an ounce of prevention versus a pound of cure. I mean, there's only so much you can do when the conditions are as dry as they are. But I think, you know, we did what we could, and I think we did well.
Could you give me a bit of your perspective as a black firefighter in Nova Scotia, in Halifax, in the Dartmouth area, where your precinct is? What has that experience been for you?
My experience has been great, but it's been a bit of a funny experience because dealing with racism and racism on the job, my group coming on, you know, suddenly there were 11 black guys on the job, or 11 more black guys on the job, and we were young and we were new to the environment. The fire department it's an old tradition, and it's an old boys tradition. It was a very exclusive club at one point, and then you get a bunch of guys who are from outside of that tradition and from outside of those ways. You know, we kind of upset the apple cart. However, I think a lot of these guys, they come to see that, you know what, after working with us and after we work with them, we're all a lot more alike than we all thought. And some of the friendships that were formed, it's you know, it kind of becomes a funny thing, because friendships that might never have formed in any other condition now form because you get these two people working together, and that happens because of our work environment. I call the fire department my 25% life, or my home, because 25% home. I work 1 day out of 4. And so the full day that I'm there, I eat with these guys, I cook with these guys, I throw these guys' laundry in with my laundry. We train together, we work together, we share a bedroom together, we work out together. So for 24 hours at a stretch, these guys become my family. If you don't see eye to eye, two people who might not normally see eye to eye can often come to see eye to eye and become very good friends who might otherwise never have met.
To experience of different cultures coming together as well. So that's amazing. So you were out in the community sort of asking for more black people to join the firefighters. And, you know, so what was that whole process about? And what has been your experience trying to get more black people to come into the firefighters?
Well, as a black person, I try to target my own community because I know, I understand the value of that job and career, not just for its income, but for what it does for the community. I know a lot of people who have become firefighters because they've looked up to someone like me or someone like my peers who have gotten on the job with me. Children didn't used to see many black firefighters jumping off a truck, but every now and again they'll see a whole crew of black firefighters jumping off a truck now, and a lot of children, you know, they're just amazed, and it feels great because you do understand that you're impacting somebody in a positive way. So for me to increase that level of impact and the number of impact by trying to get more people, and again, not just black people, but just trying to increase diversity in general. So more people can see themselves hopping off the truck, not just little black kids, but little, whether they be Native, whether they be Asian, or whether they be from wherever they be from, that they see more of themselves jumping off the truck.
Awesome. And how have you seen the response from the community for that as well?
Oh, I get a good response. I try to be visible, and I try to be friendly, and in being that way, I feel like I'm approachable, maybe. And people have approached me, tell me, "Oh, my son saw you, and he just loved you," and you know, and people recognize you, especially throughout the community. We try to be visible in our community. We give out helmets, and you know, we'll go to daycares, and we go to some of the same apartment buildings, and some of the same children come over to the apartment buildings, and they're always happy to see you. And obviously, you're always, you know, happy to see them. Yeah, it feels great. Who doesn't like to be loved by kids?
Okay, no, awesome. Impacting the community, that's great. So what does it take to become a firefighter, would you say, if you were going to explain that to someone that is interested from hearing what you have to say today?
Well, I think the first qualification is heart. I went to fire school in Waverly. You can go to fire school and earn your qualification. In Halifax, you don't need to earn the qualification. You can just apply with a clean driving abstract, your high school diploma, and they will train you on the job. Some people volunteer, and through their volunteering, they get their qualification. Or some people go to a certified fire school to get their qualification. But the number one thing, because you can go through all the training you want, but the number one thing is heart. And there's certain aspects of the job and the test and getting on the job that if you don't have the heart to stick with something, despite your inclination to give up, you're being tired, whether it's mentally, whether it's physically, whatever it might be, you have to have the heart to push through whatever the situation is.
So you speak a lot about heart there and passion. I can clearly see the passion and the love for this coming through when you say this. So if you had on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult would you say it is to be a firefighter?
Well, that's a difficult question to answer because we're all individuals and cut differently. Different aspects of the job are more difficult for certain people. I don't mind the physical aspect. I love firefighting. I love hard work. I don't mind getting dirty. I don't mind getting wet. I don't mind that stuff at all. Some of the medical calls, that can be very difficult for me, is the medical calls, because sometimes you're dealing with children, sometimes you're dealing with pregnant women, sometimes you're dealing with you're dealing with everybody from all walks of life, and some of them it's hard to see them in the situation they are. Sure. Now, mind you, it's not my situation. I didn't cause it. I'm only there to help and to try to make their day and their situation better.
Right.
But it can be difficult.
What do you love about being a firefighter then, would you say?
That I go into a situation, it's not my situation. I didn't cause it. I didn't start it. But I am here to do everything I can to make your day better. We're there. We show up and we're there to help. We show up and we're there to make your day better. Because of that, people are always happy to see us.
Great. No, fantastic. So, you shared a lot of information here today. Thank you very much. And I guess you probably even inspired some people that have been watching today to become a firefighter, to become firefighters. So how would we sign up to become a firefighter if someone was interested right now?
Firefighting is a very rewarding career, and it gives you a lot. The best way to get something is to give something. It's the law of karma. So if you live in a community where you can volunteer, I encourage you to volunteer. That will be establishing a relationship with your local fire department. Okay. That will get you training, experience, and hands-on time with the gear, as well as time in the company of people who do the work and who understand the work. So volunteering in your local community, I can't say enough about it if you can do that. Aside from volunteering, getting onto the website and looking at the qualifications, getting yourself as physically fit as you can, and practicing aptitude tests. They check to see if you're a fit for the job psychologically and in your thinking, and practicing those so you turn your brain onto that way of thinking would be good preparation. But we do have a recruitment drive on now, and the applications will be accepted until July 2nd. Okay. So get onto the website as it's going to be posted. I think there's also a QR code to scan. Follows those directions. And there's also a phone number to call that you can get more information if you would like, and get your applications in and get fit.
Awesome. Get fit, get your applications in, scan the QR code, and we will get that information out to you. Chris Powell has been on the show today. Thank you very much for your time, Chris.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you. I've been talking to Chris Powell, a firefighter here in the HRM. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and get notified whenever we have new episodes and new content. I'm Martin Zainabe, and I'll see you soon.